ashes from the fire that burns in the flames. It's those flames. I'm telling you, because the ashes is what burns up, comes from the burning, right?
Okay.
Them ashes sits there in the lost pages of hip-hop. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. How y'all doing? This is a tribute to Bambaattaa. You know, we had to come to speak on this. You know what I mean? And my thing is with Bambaattaa, it's gonna be a lot of controversy. You know, we're gonna have those. We're gonna have those that, you know what I mean, got different kind of views from it, of what he is, or what he was, or whatever they said. Let's keep it allegedly, because he never got convicted of this, you know what I mean? So we can't say he actually did it. And I'm not here to bash him and take off gloves on him. I'm here to show you a vision that he had that simultaneously came from Mario. And that's all it is about. This is like the lost pages of hip-hop, man. Bam was a little older than me. A lot of them was a little older than me. I stayed in the trenches with them. I was always in the trenches. I was just a bad little dude, just, you know, running around. And my brother kept me with him. Somehow, some way, we ran into Bambaattaa. In this phase of running into Bambaattaa, there was a vision that became a worldwide situation. Mario had that vision. If you look at the same way Bam took the Zulus in some kind of respect, Mario was taking us. It was like a vision. But Mario didn't take that vision to a different place. He took it just to our hood.
Right.
Bambaattaa, being he was tight with Mario, I know Bambaattaa, he's smart. He probably said, yo, I could take this somewhere where this shit will go, but I can't go under the Spades title.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I can't go under that. Because too many spades, you know, this and that, and the third controversy with the spade. Came up with a nation called the Zulu Nation, right? When he did that, he came up with the same vision, but he did it on a bigger scale. You see what I'm saying? Bambaattaa took it mainstream, and that's what made it big. He gives a lot of dab to Herc and all that. But if you really look at Herc didn't take it mainstream like Bambaattaa. Bambaattaa was plugged in with a lot of the Ecstasy Playhouse, the Tunnel, all that.
The
Roxy's, yeah. So, you know, he had a vision. And that vision took it worldwide, but in the process of taking that vision for all of us, not just for Bam. I tell y'all, in the lost pages of hip-hop, for our gift, there had to be a curse. I told y'all where this came from. It came from a structure that was basically streets. Every time you do streets, there is a curse with it. That's why people decide to, if they can walk out the street gracefully, they'll do it. Old G's to new G's. But if something gotta happen to you bad, if you ever notice, and you can look at Pooh Shiesty, all of them right now, for you to turn to say, you know what, I gotta stop this. I can't do the streets. The streets, I told you, is a lost page of hip-hop. That's the first phenomenon of hip-hop, was the streets, culture. way we dressed, the way we acted, the way we talked, the way all that. Bam watched us. He stood right there. Bam is one of our big bros. He did that. He watched us. He knew. He took it and he went somewhere with a vision, and the vision took it mainstream. And to this day, you're going to always see the lost pages of hip-hop through hip-hop, because that's the originality of it. You know what I mean? They just advance it more with the change, the clothes. It's always, you don't see hip-hop as a suit and tie kind of thing. It's not a suit and tie kind of thing. It's a street culture. You ever notice? It's streets. That's why it's streets to today. And what I'm trying to say with Bam is he had a vision, he took it there. Now, in his vision, he got a gift, but in that gift, it became his curse. Ashes from my fire that I burned in the flames. It's that heat that's gonna melt you, homie. It's them flames. It's like a bottle, pop. I'm American's Idol. Bambaattaa became what? Pop. American's Idol. Right?
Okay.
But in the genie's bottle, he always say, take 3 wishes. And in those 3 wishes, it never turns out the way it's supposed to turn out. Right. Just like hip-hop, it never turns out the way it comes, because it comes from original root.
Right.
And if you don't understand the original root to it, it's gonna be a curse. Right. The streets is a curse. It has no boundaries. Just say snitch. It always was snitching in the street.
Yeah, I want to talk about that with you.
It been snitching in the streets since the streets been the streets.
So is there such thing as a code? So right, so back to Bambaattaa, what?
That's what I was gonna say.
Right.
Bambaattaa is an ash from the flames. He's them ashes, them flames we was putting up back then. As we went along, them ashes became our roots. Them ashes became our curse. How you think so many of us went to jail? How you think so many of us started on drugs? How you think so many of us started doing that dumb shit? A lot of the older dudes, they don't tell you the truth. I'll tell you the truth. A lot of them old cats was pulling up on them young girls back then. A lot of shit was going on that a lot of niggas don't know what was going on. I do. It was vans running around, niggas snatching girls, kidnapping, all that was going on. We just tell you the basic of the hip-hop. That's why I try to tell you, I know where hip-hop is.
Yeah.
I know I came from it. I grew in that shit. I became one of the flames, and my ashes followed my ass all the way to now. And that was my curse. And when I mean my curse, that was the repercussions of the shit that I know what I was doing. They say karma, you can't, look, what comes around goes around. You stay on this planet long enough, you may become to understand why Bambaattaa became what he became, if that's the case.
What do you mean became? Let me ask you a question. As far as Bambaattaa, what should the hip hop world do as far as like for instance, the museum? Do they put him prominent in the museum and show off his great?
Well, listen, Bam would never really have another legacy. His legacy was already stamped. He unstamped it.
He unstamped it.
If he would have just, in the beginning, told the honest truth. See, that's what I tell you.
What's the honest truth?
The honest truth is like, yo, listen, I'm gay.
I'm gay. But then it's a pedophile thing, though. It's not just a gay.
No, I'm just
It's
saying,
a gay pedophile.
But he could have used that platform of gayness.
And he could have said, I do know Ronald Savage.
If that's the case.
Yeah.
If those are the cases. Right, allegedly. Then if Bam would have spoke his truth, I told you, this is why I told you, when we coming, you're not gonna like it. That's why I said we coming. I told you that long, about a year and a half ago. I said, and when we come, you're not gonna like it. Why? Because the simple fact is, we are the originality of it. You can't hide.
Right.
That's why you can say what you want to say, try to throw dirt on this, dirt on.
Right.
Yo, it ain't no dirt you could throw on it. We all was dirty.
Right.
It was a dirty time.
Dirty situation.
It was a dirty situation. You can say what you want. All them dudes was did it. Yeah, what that is it. A lot of us was what we was.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? I didn't start out wanting to be a stick-up kid, but I did.
Right.
It was foul.
Right.
A lot of them didn't start off wanting to get on drugs, but it happened.
I should have told you, I should have asked you this before the video so you had time to really think about it. How do you treat his legacy? Do you really show it? Like, do you keep it at a maximum or a minimum, like in a museum? Or just documenting hip-hop history? How do we document Bambaattaa?
What it is what it is, but you're not going to do what it is. It's just like the originality of what it is. We know what it is, but a lot of people is going to push it to the side, and just keep the algorithm of whatever that brings that connection, right? Because you got to have a connection to something. Their connection with Bam at first, if you ever remember, Bam's first connection was he's the Godfather. What happened to that? See how quick that the mind.
Would you still call him the Godfather of hip hop?
I would call Bam a second key to hip hop.
But he wanted to be called the Godfather. Would you call him the
It
Godfather?
ain't no Godfather.
It ain't no Godfather.
All that father shit, that shit is out the window. I keep telling you that. It's keys that
keys,
open each door.
Okay.
We opened the first. Then there's somebody, you see what I'm saying? Everybody I told you took. Bam took something from that and ran with it. Bam didn't start this.
Right, he didn't start it, but listen, but what he did
was...
so
catapulted it.
He not only, catapulted, but what he did was he actually put it together because he defined it. Like, for instance, like, okay, KRS-One once said, like when the scandal first broke out, he said something to the effect of, well...
There was no hip-hop before Afrika Bambaataa. Let's start there. So anyone who has a problem with Afrika Bambaataa should quit hip-hop.
Bambaataa is the one that named it hip-hop.
Exactly.
So now what do you do?
But, okay.
Should we change the name of the culture?
Because if you do that, right, you take it from what it is. What it is what it is.
But it can have another name.
Yeah,
it ain't got to be hip-hop.
Listen,
he named it.
If you take hip-hop from hip-hop, right?
Okay.
Now, starting a whole new situation. Bambaataa don't become what he becomes.
So we got to talk about him in hip-hop history.
We got to talk, listen.
And we got to highlight him, right? Or no?
You got the Epstein files and all that, right? They talk about that, even though we got guys in there or girls in there that's celebrities and all that, but they talk about it. You got to talk about it to get through it. You can't, and listen, if you can't go through nothing, you'll never walk through it.
Maybe what they should do is turn the whole Bambaataa thing into an educational thing for the children.
Educate our kids.
To talk up when they
say,
being,
this part of him, and if this part of him allegedly
that'd be a good education. Good education.
Right, whatever they saying about him, on the other end, on the curse end, we don't need that. We don't need that. But listen, every man that, if you ever notice, and this is real talk, that has a vision, something great of a curse happens to him. From John F. Kennedy to Martin Luther King, from this one, that one, always something happens to them. Why? Because there's a balance of scale. You see it happening with Jay, you seen it happen to P. Diddy, it's a balance. You can't have one without the other. Bam couldn't have all that glory and then not all this clean shit, and something was coming. It's something that's coming, right? And see, that's what I'm saying about when you don't put it out there. See, if he would have put it out there in the beginning, listen, if he would have came like this, right? Listen, there's a lot of, before y'all call me the grandfather, godfather, hip-hop, and all that, right? But I need to explain something to y'all. When I was young, there was accusations about me. And I want y'all to know this. Accusations that never was proven on the scale of courts, this, that, and the third. It was
Right.
only accusations through time period that we was on. So these things just may come into effect. When they do, I want you to say you first heard it from me. See what I'm saying? Think about it, just like when it's just the same thing as when we talking about stuff and we go all the way back and we start throwing allegations against each other. Right? If you don't talk about it, then people say, oh, why you didn't say that in the beginning?